Hello students, this is a short video to show you how to navigate our Blackboard site for Biology 120 lab. So I'm going to first find my Blackboard location. So I'm going to pop into Blackboard. I've arrived at my Blackboard site. You'll have to log in for this. Just log in using your Grand Valley username and password. And once you're on your Blackboard site, you're going to look for maybe as a list or as pictures, look for your site. I have a number of courses on here. The courses I'm teaching this fall are up right at the top. And I'm going to open up a Biology 120 lab section that I teach. I teach 4 different sections, so this might not be your section, but it will be very similar. So it's going to pop open and look like this. This is our Blackboard site, and on the Blackboard site are a series of menu buttons that you can click on, and you will be able to see all sorts of things. So the site usually opens to the announcements page. I may have some announcements. These announcements are sent out as well to your email so that you'll see that I've made an announcement. You'll see what it is. You can go back and read them anytime, though, on the announcements site. And I leave them up so you can read them for weeks. It's worth going back and reviewing them once in a while. I typically send out an announcement a week. The first couple days, there might be a lot of announcements, and then things slow down. A couple other things that we'll see on our menu. A Begin Here button. That seems like a place to be. The lab manual. So this is an ebook, essentially, for the lab, and GVSU Save, which includes the lab materials and the pre-lab quizzes. Worksheet assignments, important due dates, teams, you're all on a team, and you can access which team you're on by clicking on that button. Our syllabus and schedule, some information about me, and you can check your grades at any time. You can send an email, what if you're sick? Here's some information about that and some supplementary material. And then there are some other things like tools and such, okay? Okay, so I want to take a look at these menu buttons briefly. When you click on the Begin Here button, there's a lot of important things in this Begin Here menu. First of all, the introductory videos. This is the video that you found. It's here. It's about navigating Blackboard. You're going to want to watch this video in completion before you come to lab. A couple other videos about me and about my dog and things like that. There's also a sheet of information, getting started information. I'll cover most of this in this video as well. There's the lab schedule and instructor information. So if you click on that link, you can find the lab schedule and syllabus and also room numbers and such. So if I click on this link, I will see in Google Docs here, I will see our syllabus. And this is a general syllabus for all lab sections in Bio 120. But you can see what's happening in lab for all of the weeks, and when we have fall break and Thanksgiving break, that's on there. You'll also be able to take a look at the objectives for Biology 120 lab and our point distribution, so you know how this lab is scored. Participation in lab assessment and attendance. Attendance is critical in lab. It's mandatory, so that's something to note. And then a series of policies that are really kind of standard policies for being a student at Grand Valley. Okay, I'll head back to my content here. So I'm still in, if you can see this, I'm still in the Begin Here button, the lab schedule and instructor information. So if I click on the Begin Here button, I'll see some other things. I have a note here about important due dates. This is the same link as what I've got on the menu. I often have things linked twice. That will tell us when things are due, and that's worth checking out as well. So, for example, this particular document for me is all about my lab sections 901 and 907. I have a different document for my other lab sections, and you can see the assessment is listed on the left and the due date is listed on the right for our pre-lab quizzes. For our worksheet assignments, you can also see when they're due. And there's a couple things to note. For the most part, our pre-lab quizzes are always going to be due on Sunday nights at midnight. And they will be graded electronically and simply submitted to me. I don't know if these pre-lab assignments, if they're late, if they will show up at all. I'll have to ask that. This is a new system for us. We're doing something slightly different. And then also, the worksheet assignment due dates are typically due the same day you have lab, but at midnight. So you have a little bit of extra time to complete the worksheet and turn it in by midnight of the day you have lab. So if you have a Wednesday lab, chances are you'll have Wednesday due dates. And if you have a Friday lab, you'll have Friday due dates here. You also will need to download Excel, and this gives us instructions for downloading Excel from GVSU. The Excel is a part of Microsoft Office. It's free. You can get the whole package through the IT site, so you can head there to download your Excel. I recommend doing it right away. So there's a lot of little startup things you need to do. Okay, after you've kind of studied the Begin Here button, you can take a look at some of the other things. The lab manual itself, let's take a look at that. The lab manual is an ebook, essentially. And the first time you click on this, you're going to be asked to sign in. Oh, I guess I have to sign in again. I thought I wouldn't have to sign in the next time. You will have to create an account, actually. I've already created an account. I should be able to simply sign in. Let's see if my password was correct. Let's see. Okay, so now I'm in the lab manual. And what's important about the lab manual is it essentially has each of the exercises that we'll be doing. We have 13 exercises during the semester, and each exercise has a few pages of introduction. So I'm going to go to, and you can see this is exercise 1, exercise 2, 3, 4, etc. And you can see where the pages start and end. I'm going to go to exercise 1, and I'm going to start reading it. You'll need to do this before you come to lab this week. So exercise 1, the process of science. So what are we going to do? We're going to learn about maybe a little bit of history about how the scientific process developed and how to use the scientific process in biology to generate hypotheses and test them effectively. And so I'm going to read, oh, I finished, no, there's way more than this. See, notice that exercise 1 starts on page 4 and goes to page 9. So I'm going to have to click on the bottom right button here. There's a button spot for, or there's a spot for clicking on page 5, and I can read the introduction, and then I can read page 6, which has all the information for this week. So I read what we're about to do. I read the background information. That's what's in the lab manual. There are also, if I click through all of the exercise 1 information, there's also some appendixes sometimes. This one talks about how to use light meters. And the second appendix is something about skin type and what that means. Okay, we're going to be using that information later. Whew. All right, I finished reading exercise 1, the process of science information. Now I'm going to go back, and I think I can just click this back arrow on the upper left. Maybe not. I don't really want to go. It's clicking me back through everything. If I click on the X button, this X here will shoot me out entirely of my Blackboard site. I'm going to have to pop back into my Blackboard site, which is kind of annoying. Things are a little bit different. We have a new Blackboard system, and we have a new electronic manual this year in Bio 120 Lab. So it's exciting and new and different, but kind of clunky yet. Okay, so the lab manual, I know where that is. The next thing I need is to go to the GVSU Save button and look at the lab materials and the pre-lab quizzes. So when I click on that, I see this thing called Achieve. Achieve Lab Exercise Materials and Pre-Lab Quizzes. Once you've read the background information for the exercise, each week you're going to be doing this, you'll want to click on the Achieve button. It'll load up more materials for the exercise. It takes a little while. All right, so when you arrive, you're viewing the Achieve Access button, and I don't have any If you read this red bar, it says I have restricted access. I'm not the coordinator for this course. But anyway, we're viewing by assignments. I want to view by course content. But you can go back and forth, toggle it through. The course content here has syllabus and lab safety information, a welcome, you don't need to look at that, a survey, and folders, a series of folders for each exercise. The syllabus and lab safety information is valuable. You'll need it to complete your pre-lab safety quiz. This is only going to, you're only going to need to look at this one time unless you have a safety question later in the semester. But this includes the information on your syllabus, so you can read your syllabus here. We could read it on the Blackboard site as well. It includes a PowerPoint on lab safety. This is really important. And it includes a quiz that you have to take before coming to lab. This quiz is all about lab safety. It basically, if you take the quiz, you will get all 6 points. You might have to take the quiz several times, or you might have to take a question more than once until you get it right. But you will get all 6 points if you take the quiz. So you'll want to take the quiz. When you click on that, you will be able to take the quiz. The quiz here is set up as a series of questions, and you're just going to click on each question, cha-ching, and take the quiz. Okay, what do I need to bring to lab? Goggles. I've already tried this in the quiz, so I have some answers in here. In any case, you're going to complete this. I think you will automatically be graded, and it will be turned in, I think, at the end. So, okay, now where do I go back to? I think every time. That seems awkward. All right, I'm not quite sure about how to quickly toggle from this course to our Blackboard site. But in any case, I'm back. And then I'm going to look at exercise 1 because we're in week 1. I'm going to take a look at exercise 1, and exercise 1 has a series of things in it. You won't need everything right away, but you will have to take the pre-lab quiz before coming to lab. The pre-lab quiz is worth 8 points. It's a series of, I think it's always 16 questions, with each question worth a half a point, and you get 2 attempts at each question. All right. The exercise 1 overview, I don't like this. I personally don't think you need it. Okay. It's confusing to me. The exercise 1 process of science checklist. This is the information we're going to be using in lab. It's like a set of instructions. The checklist is always the instructions for lab itself. The worksheet we're going to have in a different location, and I'll show you where that is in a minute. And then there's a few other things that are often part of each exercise folder. So this one has a video. We're going to watch this video in lab this week. You may watch it ahead of time just to preview it, but we're going to watch it again. Sometimes we ask you to watch the videos on your own, though. And there's a paper. You don't have to read this whole paper. It's pretty dense, but it's there for you. And then there's something called the vitamin D utility test. We're going to use that in lab. So we see that the lab materials are all here. You will typically, before lab, have to look these over, maybe view the videos, and then, of course, take the pre-lab quiz. Okay. All right. If you, so this is our GVSU Save button. So you should be able to access the lab exercise materials and the pre-lab quizzes through this button. The lab manual is also under this. You can click on the lab manual here as well. And all of the quizzes are actually here as well. Each quiz has a specific due date, so you can access these quizzes either through the Achieve lab manual, lab exercise materials, and pre-lab quizzes, or you can actually just connect to them right here. So there's a few times where you've got multiple links to the same place. Okay, then you can also look at, if you understand what's going on in the GVSU Save button, you can also look at the worksheet assignments. In addition to pre-lab quizzes, you will always have a worksheet to complete during lab. Sometimes we won't quite finish the worksheet, but we'll get it done soon after. Sometimes we do the worksheet individually. A few times we do it as groups. And this site, this menu button, has all of the assignments, okay? And you can see these assignments all the way through exercise 13 and even a lab participation rubric down there. These assignments are, how do I describe it? This is where you will pick up your worksheet. So if I click on if I look at assignment for exercise 1, the worksheet is worth 14 points. And I first want to find the worksheet. To do that, I'm just going to click on this red underlined assignment worksheet. It's a Google Doc. It's going to take you to a Google Docs. And you can see that the worksheet is a few pages long. We're going to complete this in lab the first day. Now, to complete this, each individual is going to make a copy of the worksheet and type in your answers. And then take that worksheet, save it as a PDF, and you're going to upload it to our Blackboard site. How do you upload it? Well, you'll click on the assignment exercise 1 worksheet link, and it'll tell you the due date. Oh, it's due on Monday night at 11:59 if you're a Monday lab. And you're going to need to attach your file. So you're going to click on attach browse a local file to attach my file. I'm going to attach that PDF that has all my answers on it, and then you are going to hit submit. And it will tell you when you've submitted it properly, and you'll have your first assignment completed. Okay, so the things that you'll be using the most are these buttons here: the lab manual, the GVSU save, and the worksheet assignments. The important due dates tell you when the pre-lab quizzes are due and when the assignments are due. I will remind you of this in emails every week. The Teams button is another important button. When you click on this, you will see that you're a part of a team. I have all the teams listed because I'm the instructor. But you are a part of a 4-person team, and you will sit at a table with this team and work through labs together. Sometimes you'll work, actually you'll always work as groups. You'll work in groups. And so you can look at your team. You can also, if I look at team 1, for example, if you're in this team, you'll be able to see all of your names. You can do things like send an email to each other, something like that, if you need to, all right? And you can see that I have a few it looks like I have 4 exercises that are group exercises. That just tells you, it's not important. This will help you determine your team. Okay, if you click on, or if you look at the other buttons, you can see that there's just information about the syllabus and schedule again, the instructor information. You can check your grades online. You can send an email to anyone in the class, or to me, or to everyone in the class if you really want to. I don't know, who knows. If you have if you're ill or have an absence, or you need to be absent, you should take a look at this document. This will help you understand, what you need to do if you're absent, and when you should take an absence, which is basically only when you're sick. And some supplementary material and some tools and some other resources. But like I said, most of the time you're going to be spending on Blackboard here is using these top buttons here. The lab manual, the GVSU save that has those pre-lab quizzes, the worksheets, the worksheet assignment menu. And I think that's everything. Now, as you begin this lab, I'm going to send an email that says what you need to do before lab begins. So I will send that out. And I hope that you can work through and navigate this Blackboard site efficiently. We'll get better at it as the semester goes. I think that's it. Thanks.